Welcome to Business Law 1 class. You'll be looking at Section 3 of Unit 4, Discharge by Agreement. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain discharge by agreement and how discharge by agreement may be done by novation and variation. So you should understand that one way in which parties can form a contract is through agreement, in addition to the other elements of a valid contract. So the parties may also agree that they will no longer continue with the contract, and for that matter, they will discharge themselves or release themselves from their contractual obligation. So in order to say parties have discharged their self from contracts through agreement, the parties must agree. There should be an agreement to bring the contract to an end. Now, once they agree to bring the contract to an end, the effect of that is that it releases the parties from their contractual obligation. Now, in the case of Fish and Meat Company Limited v. Inusa, Prempeh stated as follows: It is the general rule of law that one of the modes in which an existing agreement may be discharged is by the same process and in the same form as in which it was made, that is, by mutual consent of the parties. So Prempeh is saying that the same process that a party made the contract, it is the same process that they can use to terminate the contract, because they mutually agree to enter into the contract and they can mutually consent or agree to set the contract aside or discharge themselves from their contractual obligations. Now let's look at novation. Novation has been stated or defined in the case of Japan Motors v. Randolph Motors. This is what Abban said: a transaction by which with the consent of all the parties involved, a new contract is adopted in place of another one which is existing. Novation primarily involves the discharge of the original obligation under the existing contract and create new one. So novation, let's say this contract A between B and C. Now, in terms of contract C, in terms of, let's say, contract D, the parties who are B and C will agree to adopt contract D in place of contract A. That's what we mean by novation. So a new contract is adopted to replace the existing contract. With novation, the parties only modify or alter the terms in the original agreement, but do not adopt a new agreement in place of the original one. So let's still use the contract. So let's say A and B enter into a contract. Now this is the contract. The terms of the contract is that A should supply B 10 bags of cement. Now, in novation, they can agree that no, instead of the 8, you supply 5. They have varied the term, which is the quantity of 8, and reduce it to 5. So this is how variation works. In this session, we explain how the parties to contract may agree to discharge a contract. And again, you look at how discharge by agreement may be done by novation. And we also indicated that parties may vary or modify the terms of contract, which is the variation. So you should know the difference between novation and variation. Thank you and have a wonderful day.